Welcome back, everybody. Mr. Renneker here. In this lesson, we're going to be jumping into Chapter 8 about circles. So in this first part of our lesson, we're going to be focusing on the parts of a circle, specifically a radius and a diameter. Before that, we'll define a little bit more about what a circle is. A circle is the set of all points in a plane that are the same distance from a point called the center. Just for clarification, in mathematics, when we say a plane, we aren't talking about the one that flies through the sky. This plane just refers to a two-dimensional surface similar to, for example, maybe the screen that you're watching this on, a sheet of paper, or so on. So here we have a circle, and we can see right here in the middle, we have the point they refer to as the center, but then they say that the circle is a set of points that are the same distance from that center. What they mean is that if you extend a line from that center point to any point on the edge of the circle, no matter what direction it goes, all of those lines are going to be the same distance from that center point, and that's what ends up creating a circle. You get a point out here, and a point out here, and a point out here, and here, and here, and anywhere else on that edge. It's all the same distance from our center. Now, as we look a little bit closer, we see that a radius is the distance from the center to any point on that circle. So that distance I was just highlighting, or if we start at the center and go out, that's known as the radius. But the diameter is the distance across the circle through the center. So you see here we have that green line right here marking the diameter, which appears to be a much longer line than the radius, which we have down here. Now, they are very specifically related to each other. In our next key idea, the key idea that's really going to drive the rest of this lesson, we're going to see how algebraically those two measurements, diameter and radius, are related. We'll take a look at this key idea in words and in algebraic terms. So in words, we know that the diameter from the picture a moment ago of a circle is twice as long as the radius. And the radius of a circle then, if we looked at it in reverse, is a half or 1/2 of the diameter. There are several ways to help you remember the differences between the two, meaning which one is diameter and which one is radius. First, we can use prefixes. For example, if we look at the word diameter, that prefix di does allude to us having more than one or two of something. Specifically, that's two of the radii. Another slightly less technical way to remember the differences is just to look at the number of letters in each one of our vocabulary words, diameter and radius, and count and say, well, diameter has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 8 letters in diameter, and in radius you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, only 6. You ask yourself which word has more letters, which is a longer word. Of course, that is diameter, meaning the diameter is also the longer line between the two that we saw a moment ago. Algebraically, we can use the following ideas. To find diameter, so again, finding diameter, we would say that d is equal to 2 times r, or 2r, meaning if you need to know diameter, you're going to take the radius and multiply it by 2. On the flip side, though, if you needed to find radius, we would use the formula r equals d over 2, or d divided by 2. They mean, of course, the same thing, which means to find a radius, you would have to take the diameter this time and divide it by 2. That'll help you find your radius. We're going to take a look at some examples of that next. So we will use those two ideas to help us find a radius and a diameter. We'll start with part A, which looks like this. It says the diameter of a circle is 20 feet. We're asked to find the radius. So again, remembering that the diameter, that's going to be the longer of the two lines. That's the one that goes from edge to edge of the circle right through the center. And we can use that to find the radius, or the shorter of the two lines. So from the examples a moment ago from our algebra, we know that we have two formulas. We have d equals 2r, or we have r equals d divided by 2. Again, the first helps you find diameter. The second one helps you find radius. So you need to make sure that you're applying the appropriate formula to the appropriate situation. Here, it does say find the radius, so we are going to go ahead and use this second formula. R is equal to the diameter divided by 2. Since we already know the diameter, it's provided right here in our picture. We should be able to jump into solving for radius quickly. We know that R is equal to the diameter, which is 20 feet here. We're going to go ahead and take 20 feet and divide it by 2, and we should be able to solve for r, or our radius, in the next step. Of course, 20 divided by 2 is just 10, and we have went ahead and solved for r automatically, which means that the radius is 10 feet. Let's look at part B. Part B says that the radius of a circle is 7 meters. This time we're going to find the diameter. So again, since they're asking us to find a specific item, we need to make sure that we use the appropriate formula. It says find the diameter, which would require us to use our first formula, d equals 2 times r, or the radius. As long as they provide us with the radius, and as long as you understand what a radius is, we should be able to substitute that value in pretty quickly. They do in fact show us the radius right here in our picture. It's 7 meters long. So to find diameter, we're going to take 2 times r, which is 7. And we can simplify from there, and we should be able to solve for diameter, which is just 2 times 7, or in this case, 14 meters. And we're all set to go. Next, I'm going to give you the opportunity to test your understanding, so you get a couple example problems that you can try on your own. Here you have 2 problems that you can do on your own. Number 1 says the diameter of a circle is 16 centimeters, and I would like you to find the radius. Number 2, the radius of a circle is 9 yards. Find the diameter. Of course, in these examples, these are different from the ones that we saw just a moment ago because the picture is not included. It's also not necessary. However, if you find yourself confused as to what information you are being provided with, I would encourage you guys to go ahead and draw a circle. That way you make sure you're labeling the correct lines. Go ahead and pause the video now if you'd like to take a moment to work on your own, and then when you're ready, unpause the video to see the solutions. Here are your solutions for you. For number 1, since it says that we need to find the radius, we're going to go ahead and use our radius formula, which is r equals d divided by 2. Since they told us that the diameter of the circle is 16 centimeters, I went ahead and substituted 16 here for d, or diameter. And we would have just simplified whatever 16 divided by 2 is, and for number 1, r should equal 8 centimeters. Number 2. They did ask us to find the diameter this time, so I used the diameter formula, d equals 2 times r. As long as they gave us the r, or we could find it, we were ready to go, and they did. They said that the radius of a circle is 9 yards, so I substituted 9 in for r. So d should equal 2 times 9 instead of 2 times r, and as we simplify, that means that d should equal 18 yards, so we found the diameter. So for this first lesson this week, that is all we're going to focus on are just the parts of circles, the radius, and the diameter. As always, I encourage you guys to make sure that you have copies of your own notes handy, so hopefully you had a pencil and paper ready, and make sure that you have your definitions as well. The ideas behind radius and diameter are relatively straightforward. It's nice to have references on hand as you guys go to work on the practice. Let me know if you guys need any help, and as always, I will see you next time.